PSG is way better without Mbappe, and I think Real Madrid is worse with Mbappe. You could tell yesterday.
Mbappe left PSG to win the Champions League, but now they're in the semi-finals and he's not.
We don't miss him. We behave as a team now, which wasn't the case before. Not that it wasn't his fault per se, but you can see the difference.
Trophyless, watching from the sidelines, and might get to see his former team lift the Intercontinental treble. This isn't how it's supposed to go. And this is why it sucks for Mbappe right now. The 2025 Champions League has taken an unexpected turn. Arsenal shocked the world by eliminating Real Madrid, a team many believe would walk into the final with their star signing Kylian Mbappe leading the charge. PSG, on the other hand, secured a semi-final spot after knocking out Liverpool and Aston Villa, proving that life after Mbappe might not just be possible, it might be better.
When you talk about PSG, he's expected to carry that side, right? Now he's expected to take the greatest team in Europe and make them somehow better. And it's almost impossible when you think about it that he could meet those expectations in a way that is going to change the history of Real Madrid.
This is the heart of the Mbappe dilemma. He left PSG after dominating Liga for years, chasing the one title he couldn't win with them, the Champions League. He believed Madrid would be the place to finally achieve that. But now, in his first season away from Paris, he's facing the harsh reality of a potential trophyless campaign, while the club he left behind is thriving. Mbappe wasn't just a player at PSG, he was their centerpiece. But even with domestic dominance, European success never followed. And now, the shift in power is undeniable. PSG without him is closer to European glory than ever before. This is not just a surprise. It's a statement, and it cuts deep for a player who made the biggest move of his career to chase the same dream. Mbappe spent 7 seasons at Paris Saint-Germain. Domestically, he won everything: multiple Liga titles, French Cups, and individual accolades. But in Europe, PSG fell short. The Champions League remained out of reach, no matter how much talent they assembled. The closest they came was in 2020, when they reached the final against Bayern Munich. It was a narrow 1-0 defeat, but it exposed the structural flaws of the team, especially the lack of balance. After that, PSG doubled down on star power. In 2021, they formed the most feared front line in world football: Mbappe, Neymar, and Lionel Messi. But the reality never matched the hype. The team lacked cohesion, the attack was overloaded, but the midfield and defense were exposed. Without pressing from the front, the team was vulnerable during transitions, and opponents exploited this weakness. One of the key tactical problems came from Mbappe himself. He was the most dangerous attacking outlet, but also the most static defensively. He rarely tracked back, and that created gaps between the midfield and front line. The press failed. Teams learned that stopping PSG meant stopping Mbappe, shut him down, and the entire system collapsed. It happened repeatedly against Dortmund, Manchester City, and Real Madrid. With no attacking variety and collective defensive structure, PSG exited the Champions League year after year. Even with Messi and Neymar alongside him, Mbappe remained the only reliable attacking threat. That isolation exposed the team's over-reliance on individual brilliance, not tactical depth. Paris Saint-Germain pursued a simple formula: overpower opponents with elite attacking talent, and it looked unstoppable on paper, but the system was broken by design. Eventually, Mbappe realized that the project was broken. He wanted to be part of a system that could actually win, not just look good on paper. That's why he left for Madrid. But what he didn't expect was that PSG would finally figure things out after he was gone. Kylian Mbappe didn't just leave PSG, he chose Real Madrid with the expectation of immediate Champions League silverware. The club's legacy, its Champions League pedigree, and its star-studded squad painted a clear picture. Trophies were inevitable, but his first season has told a different story. The first warning came early. In the Supercopa de España, Real Madrid was outclassed by a resurgent Barcelona under new manager Hansi Flick. The 5-2 loss was comprehensive. Tactically and technically, Mbappe had little influence, and the match raised immediate questions about chemistry, positioning, and tactical clarity in Madrid's new front line. The Champions League, the main reason for his move, brought more frustration. After a shaky first stage, Madrid's games against teams like Brest, Salzburg, and Atalanta ending up in 11th position on the table, the attacking setup remained unbalanced. Mbappe forced into a central striker role to accommodate Vinicius Júnior and struggled to influence games in the way he had at PSG. Then came the quarter-final against Arsenal, and Madrid were eliminated. Mikel Arteta's team pressed intelligently, blocked passing lanes to Mbappe, and exposed the lack of clarity in Madrid's attacking approach. It was a repeat of what he experienced at PSG. Isolated, outnumbered, ineffective. What was supposed to be a step up has so far been a step sideways. No major trophies in the season, limited influence in big matches, and tactical discomfort in a role that just doesn't suit him. The dream hasn't materialized, and now the pressure is building. While Mbappe's departure from Paris seemed like a loss for PSG, it turned out to be a turning point. The club, long dependent on his brilliance, began to reshape itself under the guidance of new manager Luis Enrique. Enrique knew PSG needed balance, not just star power. With Mbappe gone, he set out to create a team that could thrive without leaning too heavily on a single player. His first key move was replacing Mbappe's attacking threat with two dynamic players, Khvicha, Kvaratskhelia, and Doue. Both are versatile, pacey, and can play across the front line, adding unpredictability to PSG's attack. They also provided more tactical flexibility than the one-dimensional setup built around Mbappe. Defensively, Enrique was determined to fix what had been PSG's greatest flaw under Mbappe, the lack of pressing and defensive cover. Kvaratskhelia and Doue are not just defensive weapons. They can contribute defensively by tracking back, pressing higher up the pitch, and disrupting opposition attacks. In short, PSG has become a more complete unit, capable of defending from the front and attacking in waves. Additionally, the squad already had Ousmane Dembele and Barcola, two players who fit perfectly into Enrique's pressing system and high-intensity style. With more tactical discipline, PSG were able to attack from different angles, making them less predictable and far harder to contain. And the results were immediate. PSG didn't just win Liga, they dominated it. A league title with just 5 draws and no losses was a statement of strength, a level of consistency and control they'd never achieved during Mbappe's time. It was also the earliest the team had clinched the French title in the history of an 18-team season. But the success didn't stop there. In the Champions League, PSG reached the semi-finals, eliminating Liverpool and Aston Villa. Now, they're on the verge of completing an unprecedented treble, with a semi-final against Arsenal on the horizon. PSG, once obsessed with Mbappe as a key to European glory, now seems to be on the brink of achieving it without him. The team has found its balance, and Enrique's strategy is paying off in a way that Mbappe's star-driven PSG could never achieve. When Kylian Mbappé left Paris Saint-Germain for Real Madrid, many questioned whether the French club could remain a serious contender on the European stage without their star player. Mbappe had been PSG's main threat, their talisman. He was a player who could turn a game with his pace, his skill, and his goals. His departure seemed like a huge loss, one that would send PSG back to square one. But in the months since his exit, PSG have defied those expectations. Under the guidance of Luis Enrique, PSG has found a new identity, one that doesn't revolve around Mbappe. In fact, they've built a team that looks more cohesive, balanced, and dangerous than they were with him. But the biggest difference in PSG's transformation has been their approach to defense. Under Mbappe, the team often neglected their defensive responsibilities. Mbappe's lack of defensive contributions was a constant criticism. He rarely tracked back, leaving gaping holes in the counter-attack. The team would defend with only 7 players, a dangerous vulnerability in the high-pressing world of modern football. Meanwhile, in Madrid, things aren't going according to plan. Despite Mbappe's arrival, Real Madrid are struggling. The highly anticipated trio of Mbappe, Vinícius Júnior, and Rodrigo has failed to gel. The attacking setup has been unbalanced, with Mbappe being forced into a central role to accommodate Vinicius, a position that limits his effectiveness. The lack of cohesion has led to poor results in key matches, especially in the Champions League. They couldn't break down Arsenal's pressing game, and Mbappe, despite his talent, couldn't turn the game around. It's a stark contrast to the success PSG are having without him. It feels like PSG's decision to move on from Mbappe has freed them. They now look a more dangerous, well-rounded team, able to compete at the highest level, while Real Madrid seems caught in an identity crisis. While Mbappe watches PSG from afar, struggling to win the Copa del Rey, his former club is thriving without him. If PSG manages to win the treble, the narrative will shift even further. It's hard to ignore the irony. Mbappe, the man who left PSG for European glory at Real Madrid, is now watching his former team rise to the top without him. While many point to his departure as a turning point for PSG's success, the question remains, Is Mbappe truly the root of Real Madrid's struggles? It's tempting to blame Mbappe for Madrid's inconsistency. He was expected to be the missing piece, the final catalyst to elevate a team that had already claimed multiple Champions League titles. However, the cracks in the squad were evident even before Mbappe's arrival. The problems go beyond Mbappe. Carlo Ancelotti, a coach known for his ability to manage stars, has struggled tactically this season. The combination of Vinícius Júnior, Rodrigo and Mbappe up front has often been disjointed, with all three attacking players fighting for space. Ancelotti's decision to play Vinicius as a winger and shift Mbappe to a more central role hasn't worked. Neither player has had the same impact as in previous seasons, and the attack often looks out of sync. Also, their defensive vulnerabilities have limited them. Real Madrid's defensive issues have compounded their problems, losing key players like Toni Kroos, who retired. Militao and Dani Carvajal weakened their midfield and defense, leaving the team vulnerable. The defense that once defined Madrid's success has been lost. Without a solid defensive structure, they struggle to cope when their attack fails to break down organized teams, as seen in their loss to Arsenal. The clock is ticking for Real Madrid, and with every passing week, the hopes of ending the season with silverware grow slimmer. Yes, they still have the Copa del Rey final against Barcelona ahead, which, at the point of making this video, has not been played. But recent history has not been kind to them. The last time these two giants met, Hansi Flick's Barcelona thoroughly outclassed Madrid, proving that despite their star-studded squad, Madrid still has glaring tactical issues. Barcelona showed them how it's done, dominating the game in every aspect, from midfield control to defensive solidity, and of course, taking their chances when it mattered. And then there's La Liga. Real Madrid find themselves 4 points behind Barcelona, and with just a handful of games left, the chances of overtaking their Catalan rivals are rapidly diminishing. Barcelona's form doesn't suggest they'll be dropping points anytime soon. While Madrid have struggled to find consistent form this season, Barca's balance and defensive improvements under Flick have made them formidable. Madrid's failure to capitalize on key moments in the season means that La Liga is slipping further away, and it's hard to see how they could recover in time. For Mbappe, this is especially crushing. He left PSG believing Real Madrid would be his path to multiple trophies. His dream was to conquer Europe, to bring his talent to a team that was built for success. But right now, it's looking increasingly like 0 proper trophies this season. Even if Madrid somehow pulls off a miracle and wins the Copa del Rey, Mbappe's season will still be marked by missed opportunities and unfulfilled promises. He came to Madrid to be the centerpiece of a team that would dominate Europe. Yet his first season with them might end in disappointment, with no major titles to show for it. But what do you think? Should Madrid be worried about Mbappe, or will a change of coach fix the issue? Well, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to check out our last video on why Real Madrid chose Trent. Thank you.